All right. So I think we're going to get started. And as people continue to join, we'll let them come on in and see what's going on. Wanted to first extend a huge welcome to everybody for coming out tonight virtually online to kick off this year's summer camp program for 2025. We're really excited here at Camp Frontier to be offering an awesome program this summer. And we wanted to take some time tonight to share with you some of the updates from that, also some registration tips, and what's new at camp. Just to keep in mind tonight, if you're just joining us, I know I have a couple people still coming on. We do have the microphones and the videos disabled for our participants tonight. That's just to keep things running smoothly, but you can use the chat to ask questions. We will have a lot of QR codes tonight that you can scan to download things. So if you want to have your phone device ready to scan those, that would be a great resource. Also, that leader's guide will be referencing a lot tonight as well too. So that would be a great resource to have up if you want it. The first thing I'd like to do is introduce you to some of the people who are on the call tonight that you'll be hearing from. My name's Steve Porter. I'm the Program Support Director here at Erie Shores Council, and I do a lot with the program out here at Camp Frontier. Also on the call tonight is Chuck Walker, our Director of Support Services, Jeff Smarkle, our Camp Director, and John Saliski, our Program Director. So you'll be hearing from each and every one of us tonight with some more information about camp. I did want to, before we start getting into the summer camp swing of things, talk a little bit about our spring open house event. You may have seen this in the most recent email that we sent out, but we host an open house event every year. We've been doing it for the last few years. This year is scheduled for April 12th, and it's a day event on a Saturday. If your troop wants to come out and do a weekend, they're welcome to rent a campsite using the normal campsite rental portal online. And they could stay and make it a weekend thing, but we're offering the day event on April 12th, Saturday. We'll have some informational sessions for SPLs, leaders, and also on our Cub Scout Adventure Camp program. This is an open event, open to all Cub Scouts, all Scouts, CSA Scouts, and leaders. We'll have some activities running throughout the day. A free lunch is also included. And then concurrently during this event, we'll be offering a merit badge day as well, where Scouts have the opportunity to sign up for a one merit badge to take for the day if they want to do that. The registration is going to be live, I believe, starting on May 1st. So coming up this weekend, and all the other information's online. If you scan that right there, that'll take you to a great page to give you some more info on that event, which is it's an awesome time. All right, and now I'd like to turn it over to Chuck. He'd like to introduce our camp director and talk a little bit about some new programs.
Thank you, Steve. Again, welcome everybody. Really appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you so much for choosing Camp Frontier and Pioneer Scout Reservation for your 2025 summer camp program. We're excited to have you this summer, and we know there's a lot of places to go, and we are truly thankful that you selected Camp Frontier. And we are going to be ready for you when you get there this summer to have an outstanding time. And so, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jeff Smarkle, returning as our 2025 camp director.
Thank you, Chuck. So first and foremost, I think Steve meant to say March 1st instead of May 1st for our open house event to register. So again, if you hit the QR code, it should take you there March 1st. With that being said, last year we did a soft opening on Duty to God for those that were here. It's a program that was designed and given to us from National. One of our volunteers, James Whitehead, is behind it, and he did a really nice job putting it together. We had a couple other volunteers come in and expand it so we can give you a card. It's downloadable. You do the course, and you have a little bit of Duty to God at your campsite, and you get a little extra credit at the end of the week. Other things that we have coming this year is our large volleyball. This thing will dwarf me. If I remember correctly, it's as large as I am tall. So imagine playing with a volleyball that big and just having a grand time. Okay, what's new at camp this year? Program updates. We added soil and water merit badge for you guys. We've been getting a lot of requests, so we're going to offer that this year. We've also brought plumbing back this year after a long hiatus. We added crime prevention, and we've paired it with fingerprinting. So those should be completed within a week's time without any problems. We also been asked a lot about doing some advanced fire building. And for those of us that are in the know, there are over 8 ways to start a fire. So some of those will be explored at the COSA field. Introduction to Timber Works course, also again, out at COSA. So our returning COSA director asked us if he could bring it to you. With that being said, Chuck Walker.
Thanks, Jeff. Just to review your contacts for camp, these are in the Leader's Guide. You can see them here as well. Chuck Walker, Director of Sports Service, I'm happy to help in any way. Steve Porter, who you've already met, our Program Support Director, but Steve's specialty is going to be helping you with registration for camp or making payments, merit badge sign-ups, but basically the administrative items. And then obviously Jeff Smarkle will assist in any way as well, and more so once you get to camp. But any of us would be happy to help you or get you the help that you need. We've been working very hard on recruiting camp staff. We, of course, started last summer with our existing staff, and I am super excited. We have a significant portion of our 2024 staff returning, which sets the stage for us to be successful this coming summer. To date, I've probably done over 90 staff interviews. So we are in good position. Our program staff team is full or nearly full. That's basically our 18 and unders. Most of our area director positions are also full, which is outstanding. We still have a need primarily for 18-year-old plus and 21-year-old plus. So if you want to find out more about the positions that are available, if you've got some scouts who are aging out of your program or perhaps left in the last year or two, and they're at college and still hanging around, maybe helping out, we'd love to talk to them, or the youngly retired, the teachers, anyone that might have their summer open. Most folks can have a little trouble sometimes with finding 8 or 9 weeks to be on summer camp staff. So we're also interested in those folks who might be able to join us for 3 or 4 weeks or some portion of the summer. It still helps us out tremendously. But if on the camp's website, underneath the staff area, you can find a jobs board that will have a current list of the positions that we have open. And there are position descriptions and other informations, and the link to fill out for the staff application is right there. And you hit that. It's a very simple application. So please, this is going to have a direct impact on our summer experience. So helping us connect with good potential staff members is going to be key for us, and it's going to be key for you as well. So, but I think we're in a lot better shape than we have been the last couple of years. The other thing I wanted to touch on before I go back to others is on camp volunteers. So in the past, we have had a number of volunteer programs. And I'll start with the first, which is simply anyone who's at camp, any adult leader while you're at camp, if you have a passion, you have one of the merit badges is your hobby. It's just something you enjoy doing, and helping scouts enjoy that program as much as you do, and learn something. We welcome you to help our staff. Our entire team is very thankful, very welcoming. If you would like to join them in merit badge instruction, it is always welcome, and so that offer is extended to you. Each week, we will look at our summer camp staffing for the coming week, and one of the things that we live with in today's world is staff that are coming and going. They're your kids. You know how active they are. They're going to Philmont. They're going on other high adventure trips. They got band camps, church camps, all kinds of things this summer. So it's kind of a revolving door for a portion of our staff. So as good as we're getting at recruiting and as good as I said it was, we're still going to have a gap here or there. So each week we will reach out to you a couple days before camp and say, here's the programs that we know that we need help with. And so consider that when that email comes out, it'll go to the contacts we have. Please share that amongst your leaders that are coming to camp. So if you can help us at the target and range activities or shooting sports area, because you're have an NRA RSO certification or rifle instructor or shotgun instructor, those types of things. We would really love your help while you're at camp for as much time as you're willing to give us. We have also had a program where we have given back leader fees if you have committed to work so many hours in the commissary or with the Plan B food packing. And our goal is always to have a complete team in the dining hall. We're doing very well with that. We're still going to probably need a hand. And so those, again, information on that will come out just before camp, because if we can staff it, we're not going to ask you for help in that area. You're always welcome to. The staff there is very appreciative, but we want to, if you're giving up a significant portion of your week to help us, and many of you are very happy to do that, we want to make sure that you get something back and we'll return your leader fees. But more information on that to come as we get closer to camp. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Chuck. Just as we're going through, I'm looking at the chat and John's taking care of a lot of these for us. But did want to thank you, Jeff Smarkle, for catching me and Chuck on that date. Now, it is March 1st for the open house registration opening for that April 12th date, not May. I had a lot of dates on the brain today, I guess. Looks like we've got some questions, though, coming in about giant volleyball and when that'll be offered. And John's looking at those and saying that's going to be an open area activity. So no sign up required, something during open area where you can just show up. And then that timber program, that was something that our COSA director had an idea on from this past year. And this is kind of like an expansive version or more advanced version of like a totemship or a firemanship class. So he's offering some timberworks classes that are a little more advanced, that it requires some more skill there. And then also with that firemanship, it would be an advanced fire building class that builds on top of that. So they would need those skills in order to do these more advanced classes, but there is no age requirement. And it looks like somebody was able to post the link for that open house as well. So if you're still looking for that, it's in the chat, and I'll show you online as well where that's at before we end tonight. Moving on, though, I would like to take a look at some of the registration information. So as we're moving into camp, these are our fees for this 2025 summer. We have an early bird and a regular rate, and we both have in and out of council rates as well. So make sure that you're locating the correct fee based on your meal plan and whether you're in or an out of council unit. So if you're an Erie Shores unit, if you pay before the early bird deadline of April 28th, on or before, you're going to get that early bird rate there. And this is the scout fee. This is for youth. And then if you pay after that April 28th deadline, it'll be at the regular rate. So it'll be an additional $20. And then same for the out of council. And then the meal plans would be, Plan A would be eating in the dining hall. Plan B would be where we pack the food out to your campsite and you prepare it there patrol style. Or Plan C would be where you would bring your own food entirely. And everyone who has a registration in the system should already be under a specific meal plan when you registered. If you need to make changes to those, just send me an email or give me a phone call. I'd be happy to switch stuff around for you. This information can also be found on page 12 of the Leader's Guide. Keep in mind that when you're paying for camp, we do have a free leader discount. So your account is automatically going to calculate free leaders, and it's going to give you one right off the bat per troop, just for registering for camp. And then it's going to give you an additional free leader for every 10 scouts that you register for camp. So for every 10 spots you purchase, you get an additional. So if you purchase 10 or more, you get 2 total, 20 or more, 3 total, and so on. Keep in mind, if you have a boys and a girls unit coming out to camp, each one of those qualifies for that first free leader, as well as the cumulative free leaders. So space your leaders out if you're sharing a campsite and sharing leadership to make sure that you take full advantage of that leader discount that we have in the system. If you do payment at camp online, you can do online processing. There is a credit card processing fee of 2.5% for all credit cards. But if you do e-check, we do not charge for e-check processing. When things go into your cart, it's going to automatically add that processing fee. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom and switch it to e-check, it should remove that fee for you, no problem. So don't be alarmed when you see that in your cart right away. It'll disappear when you switch over to the other payment method. We also accept mailed-in payments or payments in person at the Scout Shop here in Toledo. And there is a fee transmittal form for those, just so we know what you're paying for and all that good stuff. And I'll show you where to find that on the website once we do our little website tour after this presentation. Another thing to mention is our campership program. I'm also going to show you where to find that on the website. Our campership program for the last couple of years has been servicing both in and out of council units. So if you have youth who are coming out to camp, who have trouble paying for camp, maybe they're not coming because it's a financial hardship, please encourage them to apply for that campership program. We have assistance available for everyone who applies. And if you are putting an application in, the application process starts March 1st for those, and then the window closes on April 15th. So you have about a month and a half to get those in. So on March 1st, if you have anybody, start putting those in, so that way we can get those awards out and get some scholarships awarded for Scouts coming out to camp. And I just saw the questions, are they available for out of council? Absolutely. So they are available for out of council as well. These are for youth only though. So just be youth camperships, but in and out of council youth. If you're an adult coming out to camp, we have a prorated adult fee. The fee is the same no matter when you pay. So if you pay on or before the early bird or after the early bird, same exact fee for adults. And then we do have a prorated daily rate. So if you have adults who are splitting a week, or maybe one who's just coming out for a couple days, we are able to split that out for adults. The weekly rate is normally charged online and automatically calculated. That daily rate, though, you just need to send us an email so that way we can get it plugged into the system. We just need to know what leaders come in and how many days, and we can get it plugged in if you're trying to pay online. But that is something that's set up on the admin side of things. Keep in mind, too, and I forgot to mention, anybody who pays by that early bird deadline gets that reduced rate, but they also get the free early bird hat. You can purchase additional ones for people who register later, but if you want to get a free hat, those are available by the early bird date. And we also do free hats for all adults, regardless of the registration date. The early bird hats actually just arrived last week, so we're really excited to have them in. I know I've got the presentation up, but if you look at my screen and maybe you see me talking, I've got them right here. It's a nice dark green with a nice tan. It's an awesome color scheme this year. So if you guys like to plan accordingly, I know some troops like to know the colors because they like to get some other accessories to match. Those are our colors for this year's patch and hat and t-shirt. Those are right there. We just talked about the campership program. I'll leave it up for another few seconds if you want to scan that QR code real quick. But again, open to both in and out of council, and they'll be accepting applications starting March 1st. And deadline for submittal is April 15th. I'll also show you where that link is on the website if you missed the QR code on this screen. All right, merit badge registration. So merit badge registration is actually a separate entity from paying for camp. So merit badge registration happens on a specific day, depending on what week you're coming out. For the most part, these are on Sundays when the registration system opens. The only exception would be the Sunday of Mother's Day would open on that following Monday, and then the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend would open on the following Tuesday. Just to give you those holidays so you're not trying to register on a nice holiday. Otherwise, they're scheduled for Sundays. Do notice that for week one, the merit badge registration is actually a day before the early bird deadline. Does not matter if you've paid for your spots or not. You should be able to register them for badges. So if you want to register for badges and then get your early bird in last minute on the 28th, that's okay. It does not, it's not concurrent with those things. If for some reason you register more spots than what you've paid for, we'll just charge you whatever rate it is when you're adding them. So for every week but week 1, it would be at the regular rate for all those additional spots. Keep in mind that this system does close down right before your pre-camp leaders meeting. So that way we can pull the rosters and have that information ready. This is a first come, first serve system. And I will be having a merit badge registration training day on Zoom coming up, and I'll have a slide about that in a little bit. But we'll go into a lot of detail, so it's a great opportunity to watch some of that stuff that we won't be talking about tonight just for sake of time. You can find these dates in this chart on page 13 of the Leader's Guide. Adult leadership at camp. So there are some requirements for adult leaders coming out to camp. If you are coming out to camp, it does not matter if you're coming out for a day or the entire week. You do have to have this documentation. You have to currently have your youth protection training in date. You have to be registered with the troop. So if you're coming out to camp as a leader, you need to be registered with the troop. That also lets us know that your background check has went through national and that your youth protection is up to date. Another thing that we require for our camp is a Michigan Central Registry clearance. So the state of Michigan has a rule that any youth serving organization has to be cleared through their system as well. So it's not just a scout thing. It's a free process to clear through the Michigan Central Registry, but it does take time. There's an application for this, so you'll fill it out, send it into the Michigan Registry office, and they'll send you a letter back that says that you're cleared and ready to go. There is an option on the form to have it sent directly to the camp. We ask that you not do that, just because when we receive the clearance form back, all we get is a name. We don't get a troop number, we don't get a week number or anything. So then we have them sitting in a big pile on the desk waiting for people to claim them. What we'd really like to do is for you to get it back to yourself. So if it's sent to yourself, print it off and then put it in a nice big pile with the rest of your troops and turn it in all at once so we can put a troop number and a name on that. You can turn those in at the pre-camp leaders meeting. You may be asking yourself, you're in Ohio camp, why are you asking for this? Well, we actually have half of our property in Michigan. So you will be using both Ohio and Michigan sides of camp, and because we do have property in Michigan, those rules do apply. So it applies to all leaders coming out. And I'll have some more tips and tricks about this as well, but just keep in mind, and it's a free process, so if you have people on the fence about going to summer camp, might as well just fill it out now and get their registry back. Does need to be done annually. If you did it last year, have to do it again this year. We will accept forms dated January 1st or later of 2025. And then youth required forms as well. So these are some other required forms for summer camp for both youth and adult. So you do need to have that BSA Health medical record. It needs to have part A, B, and C needs to be dated within the last year. So they're good basically to the end of the month that they're dated. So for example, if you have a form that is dated any date in June of 2024, it is good till the end of June 2025. If your summer camp week goes one day into July and your form is only good till June, you need to get a new form. But the idea is that you're getting a new one every year anyway. So if you had one last year, you probably need a new one for this year. We also have a separate informed consent release agreement and authorization form, identical pretty much to part A of the health form, but we turn our health forms back at the end of the week. So we like to keep that first page just so we have that signature at the talent release and the release of agreement separate. So we ask that you fill that out as well. We like both of those for both youth and adults. So that health form and for the informed consent release agreement. Pre-camp leaders meeting. So we will have a pre-camp leaders meeting at our Jadel Leadership Center in Toledo, Ohio. We will not do it out here at camp. There are a couple troops every year that show up at camp, but we're actually going to be doing it an hour east of camp at our council office in Toledo, Ohio. That'll be an opportunity to turn in any health forms that you have, turn in any other forms that you're collecting. We'll have a quick meeting at 7 o'clock, answer any questions and get you on your way. We do check-in at 6:15, and there's a different date for every single week, and about 2 weeks out from your week of camp on a Tuesday night. If you're not able to make it to the pre-camp leaders meeting, please let us know. Send us an email, and we can get you hooked up. The nice part about turning in your forms at the pre-camp leaders meeting is we'll have all your health forms pre-checked when you get to camp, and the only ones we have to check at camp are ones you have yet to still turn in, so it makes check-in go a lot smoother. If you're not able to make it, we have other ways where you could mail those forms into us, and we can get those pre-checked as well. And we can do that on a case-by-case basis, but that's the pre-camp leaders meeting in a nutshell. And I see a lot of questions coming in on the chat right now, and once I'm done with this entire section, I'll probably look through the chat before I turn it back over and just answer any of those. So sit tight, and I'll take a look at those as we get closer to the end of this part of the registration thing. Pre-camp planning and packing checklist. So last year we revised our leaders guide and we added some great checklists. There's a planning checklist for leaders, parents, and SPLs with 3 separate sections. That's going to be a great way to start to make sure that you're ready for camp. So if you're getting prepared for camp, these are the things that you want to have done before you show up on our property. We also have a suggested packing list, things that the troop should bring to camp, things to make sure you have in your troop trailer when you're rolling in. So that would be a great thing to look at too as you're getting around to packing. There's also an individual packing list on page 20. And that's a great thing to make photocopies of and pass out to all of your leaders and youth coming to camp. So that way they know what they should bring on an individual basis. And we'll show you where to find those on the website in just a bit. Vehicles in camp. So Camp Frontier doesn't allow personal vehicles past the parking lot. But if you do have somebody in need of mobility assistance out at camp, we have a few options. You need to put a request in regardless of what you're doing. It's an online form that you fill out just so we're aware of what you're doing. But basically, there's 3 different things we can do for you. We can allow you to bring a bicycle to camp. I have some leaders with like knee replacement, hip replacement. It's easier to do a bike than it is to walk on their legs, and that's great. Keep in mind that our camp does not allow you to bring bicycles otherwise unless it's for those mobility assistance. However, we do have program bikes available for scouts to ride during open area time. We just don't allow the bringing of personal bikes. Just if we had every troop bringing them, we'd have bikes going around everywhere and we'd probably have some accidents. So we try and keep it just to the program bikes and the ones that we bring for mobility assistance. Other 2 options would be to have an electric scooter out around camp, or you can also choose to do a golf cart. Golf carts, you can either bring your own or you can rent one from camp. We do have a limited amount. They're available for $200 for the week. You can do that through the same form and reserve it. Must be a golf cart though if you're bringing one. So an electric or gas golf cart like you'd see on a golf course. We don't do personal vehicles. We don't do ATVs. We don't do gators or anything like that. It's just those golf carts just to keep the vehicles nice and slow moving around camp. Dietary restrictions and food allergies. If you have scouts or leaders in your troop who have any of these food allergies or restrictions, check out page 14 of the Leader's Guide or look at our food allergy program. While we may not be able to make accommodations for every single thing, we do have a lot of alternative foods that we can offer available by request. And the entire program is outlined in a really nice little packet. It's available at that QR code or on the website, and I'll show you where to find that on the website as well as we get closer to the end. 2026. So if you are interested in renewing your registration for 2026, let's say you come out to camp every year, or maybe you're a new troop and you really like what you see here and you want to get ahead of the game, we do allow for early registration if you already have a reservation for 2025. So on May 12th for 2026, we'll open up a link where you can put in a request to get the same campsite, same week number for 2026. In order to do that, basically you just have to fill out the form. Has to be the same week and same campsite. If you're looking to switch campsite, if you're looking to switch weeks, you need to wait for normal registration to open first to make sure that that site hasn't been renewed by the people who wanted it when they have the same week, same campsite. That opens on May 12th, and then if you want to do any switches, our normal registration opens on June 2nd, and June 2nd for normal registration online, just like you would see right now. Provisional campers. So if you have campers who want to come out to camp and they don't have their troop coming, we have an opportunity for provisionals to come out to camp and stay with a host troop. There is a registration online where you'd fill out a registration. We'll set up a registration portal for them. So mom or dad or whoever sets it up can do merit badge registration and make payment. It's the Plan A pricing for that generally, and we usually are doing pairing with Plan A troops, A or B troops sometimes, but mostly Plan A troops. Plan C troops, we typically don't do pairing with just because of food and payment for that kind of stuff, but the A and B we do. You can go to this link if you want more information and do a registration for that as well. And then free SPL week, same type of deal as the provisional camper. This would be a scout coming out to camp without their troop, but we offer the SPL of your troop 1 additional week at camp for free. This is assuming that they don't take any merit badges while they're out at camp. So we understand that your SPL comes out to camp. They're probably really busy running the troop, doing a duty roster, checking with their scouts, their patrols, and everything like that. So if they want to come out to camp and spend time doing that while they're with their troop, we offer a free week to come out and stay with a host troop, take a full schedule of merit badges, and enjoy all that stuff without the hustle and bustle of trying to get the troop managed at the same time. This is a free program, assuming they don't take merit badges. They still are welcome to participate in all the open area activities and everything else. It would just be those scheduled merit badge times during the day that we would ask that they wouldn't sign up for if they were going to take advantage of this program. Provisional host troops. So we ask for volunteer troops to be provisional host troops for every single week. My goal for this is to have a host troop for every week of camp, 1 for the girls and 1 for the boys. And if we have additional ones, that's great too. If we make an assignment and schedule at least 1 scout into your troop to be a host troop, we give you a $100 credit, basically your deposit back. So that way we give you a little incentive as well, and thank you for doing that. I will take host troop volunteering starting tonight. So if you're interested in volunteering for a host troop, I have a little chart started. You can put it in the chat. Just let me know your troop number, your week number of camp, and your council, so that way I can find you in the system and mark you down. But if you're interested in being a host troop, it's a great opportunity to meet new scouts. Just put it in the chat and let me know, and I'll get those crossed off before the end of the night. Or if you're interested in doing it or you're not sure, you can always send me an email too, and I'll add you to the list. Custom early bird hat. So that early bird hat that I showed you earlier, you have the opportunity to order a custom embroidery on the back with your name, with your troop name or troop number and hometown. So it'd be like Troop 8, Blissfield, Michigan on the back. So that would be what you could do if you wanted to. Those orders are due by the early bird deadline. It's a $6 per hat charge for all the free hats, or if you want to purchase an additional one embroidered, it would be $18. You can also purchase just the hat at camp. We have it available in the trading post, and they're $12 each. So if you have a couple people sign up late and they still want hats, we've got plenty of them. You can buy them at the trading post. Pre-sale t-shirts. We do a pre-sale t-shirt as well. We sell it in the trading post, but if you buy it ahead of the game, you get $2 off of each t-shirt. And you can also choose to add in a personalized sleeve with your troop number and hometown for an additional, I think it's $6. So that's also due by April 28th if you want to do it that way. If you miss that deadline, you can always buy non-personalized ones at the trading post. That's the regular price. And then also something that we do at camp is we offer camp cash cards and care packages for your scouts. So you can share this information with your parents if they'd like to purchase care packages online anytime right before your week of camp or even during your week of camp in the first half. But you can purchase those online and then we'll deliver to your scouts out at camp. There'll be more information on what's in that care package and we'll send out some links. And then there's also cash cards, which work like a gift card at the trading post. You can send this in lieu of cash. While we can't replace any lost cards, we do write their name and troop number on them. We find them a lot and we can return them to them. I can't return a $20 bill. I have no idea whose it is or where to find them. So this is a great way to try and get money back to them if they lose it as well. It helps with location on that. And those there's links on page 23 of the Leader's Guide for both of those. All right, let me take a look at the chat before we move on to the merit badge offering. I just want to see if there's anything in here. And actually, it looks like we've got a lot of questions. So John, if you want to start working on program stuff, I'll watch the chat and read through these and have some answers once you're done with your presentation.
Well, welcome again, everybody. I'm excited for this summer. I'm excited to get to see and meet all of you guys. So I'll start here by going over some of the merit badge selections. And for most of this information, you can find it outlined like it says on the screen on pages 46 and 47 and 58 of the Leader's Guide. And this is where you will find pretty much everything you need in terms of like the times it's offered, the class sizes, any prereqs. And I can't stress that part enough. The prerequisites are something that you definitely want to look at with your scouts, because there are some of these merit badges that do require prerequisites that could take, something as simple as a day, or it could take something that might be several weeks long. So it's important that they look at that stuff now ahead of time and ensure that they're able to get it complete before arriving to camp. Otherwise, they could potentially run the risk of leaving with a partial. And then there also you'll find age requirements, any kind of additional costs. Something to note that's new, like we said earlier, soil and water conservation has been added by popular request. And then plumbing has also been added back as well into the rotation. And then we did also make a little bit of a change with a couple of the badges. So crime prevention is one that's been added with fingerprinting. We felt like those two kind of went better hand in hand. And then it was originally last year fingerprinting, safety, and traffic safety. We kind of split that up. And so now it's crime prevention and fingerprinting, like I said, and then safety with traffic safety, just to kind of make it a little bit more cohesive and so that the topics go together a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I could spend probably the whole night here just reading through the different merit badge offerings. So the best thing to do would probably be to navigate to that part of the Leader's Guide. Let's see, open area schedule then. If you navigate to page 59, this is where you'll find all of the activities and events for open area across all of our different areas. And you can see we have stuff from the morning, 6 a.m. all the way through the evening, with evening area time in all of our different areas. There's always something to be doing. The descriptions of these as well can be found on the specific area pages if you flip into the middle of the Leader's Guide as well. That's where you'll find a lot of that information. Myself turning around here 1 second. So yeah, if you go to like the program areas pages, which I believe start on, they start at about page 31. That's where you'll see a lot of like the more thorough descriptions of those different area activities. But just some of the ones that are notable to me that I always enjoy going to and helping out with are like the water ball. That's always a fun one, kind of unique. If you're new to camp this year, it's basically we have an actual fire truck, and there's like a metal ball that's suspended, and it's almost like tug of war except with water. You shoot the little ball, and you're trying to get it to the other team's side, so that's a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean that's just one example, and there's many others as well to meet all different interests across all of our different areas. On page 48 and 49, that's where you get to then the more specific camp-wide programs. Turn to that. So some of the big ones, I guess water ball is mentioned there as well. But we have our 2 campfires. So we have our evening campfire on Sunday. That's our opening campfire where we introduce the scouts to what they're going to be expecting during the week. We do some skits. It's a lot of fun. There's water ball, like I just mentioned. Root beer canteen is a really fun activity. It's essentially a big party where they come out to the amphitheater. They can purchase root beer floats, and we just dance and listen to good music and drink a lot of root beer. It's a really fun time for the scouts and for the staff, for that matter. And that usually occurs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. What else? Order of the Arrow call out. I believe last I knew, at least, and one of these guys probably correct me if I'm wrong, but we are still in the works of finding a camp chief for that. But that is another activity that occurs with our Order of the Arrow members, where they are let out to the call-out grounds and called out during an evening of a Nalgene tournament. That's something that we started last year. It's basically capture the flag, except with Nalgenes, because that's kind of our big shtick at camp. And so basically they compete in the game of capture the flag, as I said. Camp-wide games and awards is for those games. Those are usually recognized at our closing campfire on Friday night. And those are games that all troops can participate in throughout the week. And yeah, for more of these, the more description on these offerings, as well as the others, you can navigate to that page in our leader's guide. The outpost schedule. So we offer a variety of outposts, and one of our big points of emphasis there is you guys. We ask for adult volunteers to help with a lot of these, just to help provide us with just an additional set of eyes, and even skills and experience if you have skills and experience in some of these areas. One of the ones that is near and dear to my heart is the golf outpost. I'm a big golfer. And so we would actually go out to a golf course in Bryan, Ohio on Tuesday mornings, and we just play 9 holes, and it was a good time. So that might be of interest to our golfers in the room. Aviation is also a really fun one that's near and dear to my heart. The kids, we take them out to an airport in East Noble, and they literally get to fly an airplane, by themselves. So that's a really cool experience, especially if you're, a teenager. You get to go back to school and tell all your friends how you flew an airplane. So yeah, we definitely ask for help with those, and those offer the scouts a really excellent opportunity to get some more hands-on experience with what they're learning in their merit badge classes. You can go on to the next one, Steve. Another big point of emphasis this year is the Camp Frontier Frontiersman program. So this is a week-long camp honors program that requires the scouts to complete different requirements across our different areas. Some of them are basic, like, earning your totemship and your firemanship. Some of them are a little bit more advanced, like planning a conservation project. It just kind of depends on which level you're at. And so it's broken down into different ranks, if you will, that represent our different camp mascots. And depending on where your scout is at in that ranking, their requirements will be different, but everyone starts as, boy, I refresh my memory here. Help me out there. What's the start? Oh, Fox. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. Everyone starts as a Fox, regardless of what their scout rank is. It doesn't have to do so much with your scout rank. It just has to do more with your years at camp, I guess you could say. So if you're like brand new to the camp and you've never done the Frontiersman program before, then everyone, even if you're like a first class scout or whatever, along the way in the scout ranking, everyone starts at Fox. And then we recognize those who complete the Frontiersman program at our closing campfire on Friday. It's a nice kind of ceremony within the ceremony itself, where they're recognized, and leaders can be recognized as well for completing the adult Frontiersman program, and that should also be outlined on page 49. Oh, yeah, there's a list of requirements there that you can check out for the Frontiersman program, and so that's something we really want to encourage this year, is scouts to take advantage of that, and just the different opportunities that come along with that. And it's a nice special sort of sentiment that they can carry with them and then work towards completing over their years at camp. You can move on, Steve. Oh, Duty to God. This is another program area that we're trying to place a little bit more emphasis on this year. One of the points of the Scout Law is a Scout is reverent. And so this is an excellent program that's designed to help not only the Scouts, but the entire troop engage in their respective religions a little bit more. We have little pamphlets at the camp that outline the different guides and that you would sign off on to earn the patch at the trading post. So I'll read it here to you. The basic requirements are attending our Vespers, which usually occurs right after flags on Sundays on the day you guys arrive. Completing 3 daily devotionals within your own unit. So again, it's kind of an opportunity for your unit to grow closer together and grow closer in their religions. Saying grace before meals. We do this automatically if those of you doing Plan A, but it's something that you could easily do with your troops if you're Plan B and C. And then participate in the Roses, Thorns, and Buds reflection with your unit at camp. That is something that is a part of this pamphlet as well, and this is also linked within our leader's guide. you can find the information on page 49. Essentially, all of these camp-wide programs are starting on page 49 if you need more information about those. But we're excited for those, and we're excited to see more scouts and troops participating in them. As far as leaders programs are concerned, we want to make sure that you guys are taken care of as well. You can find a lot of that information on pages 53 and 54. And most of these, if not all of them, are programs that are led either by the camp commissioners or by the area specific staff, depending on which of these activities we're talking about. But we have the leaders meetings and coffee socials. So these usually happen kind of throughout the camp. Usually our camp commissioners will designate specific times and or campsites or other locations where leaders can meet, and then they'll go over, just need to know information, and you guys can drink coffee and hang out. It's usually a good time. There's different outdoor skills training programs as well, Scoutmaster specific training, aquatics training with our awesome aquatics crew. Nap on Safely. This is a great one if you haven't done it before. You can learn, there's 2 levels to this, Nap on Safely 1 and 2, but you can learn the proper procedure for taking a nap safely at camp. And then there's various times that are designated just for leaders to do specific activities like leader swim, climb, shooting, stuff of that nature. So it's an opportunity for you guys to have a little bit of fun at camp too. We don't want the scouts to have all the fun,
Awesome. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. So John's doing a lot of our program stuff this year as the program director. He's a great resource, and we're excited to have lots of cool stuff going on for 2025. I did have an opportunity to take a look at the chat while John was presenting, and some of these may have been answered. I'm just going to go over them verbally as well, just to make sure that if you had the question, you know the answer. I see a week 3 merit badge sign up is on Monday. Yes, that one is, Brent. That one is avoiding Mother's Day. So I think things got just a little shifted on the calendar, and week 3 is on the Mother's Day weekend, so we're doing it on Monday. Camp Computer Lab was a nice resource, but our scouts were there all the time. Any suggestions on how to get them to not be addicted to the screen? Well, I can't say that I have too many suggestions on that other than just encourage them to get out and enjoy camp. I do think that we're going to be closing that during non-program time. So if it was an evening occurrence after program time, hopefully that'll help stop scouts from doing that in the later evenings. What time does the merit badge system open? Opens at 4 p.m. on your scheduled day. And it looks like, shout out to Megan Jelma, our business manager from last year, who's returning for this year. She's actually on the webinar tonight as well, and she's answering some questions for me. So thank you, Megan. Beautiful response. Any estimate on how long it takes for the Michigan Central Registry? My recommendation is to email it to them and then request that your form be emailed back to you. I've been doing them for staff members right now, and it takes about 24 to 48 hours to get them back. If you mail it or fax it or ask for it mailed back, it can take anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. We highly recommend the email, but it's just somebody in an office who's doing this, and depending on how many they get a day, depends on how fast they come back. But generally, it's a couple days right now. We recommend doing it earlier than later, though, so that way if it does take a little bit longer, you have it when you're ready for camp. Can health forms be electronic? Do you require hard copies? We do require hard copies of the health forms, either turned in person, or you can put them in the mail to us. We like to have hard copies in our health lodge just for power outage or anything like that. If there's an emergency, we want to be able to have that hard copy to be able to pull out of the box. We do return them to you at the end, but we ask that we encourage or suggest that you make a photocopy of them anyway before you turn them in, and keep a copy in your troop campsite and give us a copy, so that way they're in both places. Can you outline the gear process? I think John gave us some information there, and it looks like we've got some other people who've been here before as well. But troop trailers, we tow those back to your campsite. Our ranger staff will take those back to the campsite and get them in there for you, and then they'll pick them up at the end of the week and tow them back up to a small lot in the front where you can hitch up. So you don't have to back them in, you don't have to do anything, you just pull through, drop it, and we'll get it back to the site before you even get back to your campsite from check-in. If you have vehicles and personal gear in your vehicle, We have quarter-ton trailers, which are small military-sized trailers in the parking lot. Just talk to your site guide when you get there. You can load up as many as you need. We'll pull them back to the campsite, get them back there for you, and then we'll also drop them off on Friday night if you want to load them up and have them pulled back up to the parking lot to load your vehicle back up at the end of the week. So we can take care of vehicle stuff as well. Let's see, Troop 4, I got you down for host troop. Cost of the pre-sale t-shirt. If you buy them on pre-sale, I believe they're $14. And if you buy them, I'll have to double check on that though. I think our supplier cost may have went up. They might be $16 now. They may have went up $2. But traditionally they were 14 pre-sale, 16 at camp. I think they may have went to 16 and 18. But the order form, I know I set it up correctly. So when the order form goes live, it may be live already, or it might be waiting for March 1st. But usually that'll have all the sales stuff on there. So that's where you can find that info. If you order t-shirts early, can you get them delivered? We will have them available for you at your pre-camp leaders meeting. So you can pick them up at Toledo 2 weeks before your week at camp. So that's the early way. If you don't pick them up at the meeting, we'll have them waiting for you right when you check in. So we'll have them for you right when you come up to the check-in table at camp. Out of council OA, it looks like Megan gave us some information there on the roster. But yeah, if you're out of council, we just need to have a roster from your lodge. Prerequisites for scouts to bring a blue card for prerequisites signed off. If they're working on a partial that they already completed in a previous summer and they took it at camp, we have those records. If they didn't take it at Camp Frontier and they took it somewhere else, they would need to bring a blue card so that way we could finish it off. I think that's what we're asking there. Merit badge age limits are those hard limits. So the merit badge system is going to calculate the age of the scout based on what age they are the first day of camp. That's why we require a date of birth. So yes, if they are not of age the first day of their week of camp, it won't let them sign up. However, after the system closes, right before your pre-camp meeting, if you have a scout who's right on the cusp of an age, maybe turning that age like a week or two later or during camp, email our business office, and as long as there's space in the class, for the most part, we can make those exceptions there as long as we still have space available. Lots of information on the prerequisites. Looks like John gave us some information there. If we didn't get our group photo from last year, how would we go about doing that? So the 1 week, week 1 of camp, we did have a large error in our files for the photos. So if you came week 1, all the files that we had that when we transferred them over to the computer were corrupted on the stick. So unfortunately, we don't have week 1 photos available. If you came a different week of camp though, and you're looking to get the printout copy or something like that, I have those still. Just email me and I can take a look. Do we get a copy of completed merit badges? Yeah, I'll go over that during my registration training. But yes, we have a way to download completed merit badges. You can, there's a Scout Book import feature as well that we'll talk about there. You can also check on merit badge progress throughout the week and download that anytime. And we'll talk more about that at my merit badge registration page, or on my merit badge registration day. Will there be a sibling discount? We do not offer a sibling discount. However, we do offer that leader discount. If you have scouts, though, who are siblings and they've got a lot of people coming out to camp and they have financial hardship, we encourage them to apply for that campership. I think that is all the questions. I will come back to this again, but I'm going to keep moving forward on the last couple things on our presentation for tonight. So Cub Scout Adventure Camp. One thing that I just wanted to mention, and I'm going to mention it really briefly, we offer a Cub Scout Adventure Camp after our Scouts PSA Summer Camp. We're offering 2 sessions, it's a Sunday through Wednesday and a Wednesday through a Saturday. So if you have a pack that's interested in doing a camp at the end of the summer, we're offering that. It's open to the entire pack. And we're also offering for Lion and Tiger tag-alongs with a parent coming along with them. There's pricing here, so that's the pricing for the camp. It's an awesome adventure. We're doing Out of This World is our theme for this year, so we're doing a new theme. So it's going to be kind of space themed, and if you want more information, You can find it on our webpage, or you can scan this QR code right here. I will say the Leaders Guide online is probably still last year's Leaders Guide, very similar to this year's program though. Literally was just working on the Leaders Guide about an hour ago. So that's getting polished up, and we're hoping to get that out in the next couple days for 2025. But it's a great, the 2024 is a great resource as well. Very similar program as we're doing this year. Registration training. So I've been talking about this. I don't have time tonight to go over all that registration training, but if you want to talk about it, we're going to do a Zoom meeting on March 26th at 7 p.m. and I'll have an opportunity to ask questions. I'm basically going to open up my thing and do like a mock troop. So I'm going to show you how to register for camp. I'm going to show you how to pay for spots. I'm going to show you how to register a scout, how to register a leader for badges, or a scout for badges, a leader for other things, how to pay, all that stuff on my screen, so that way you can see what it looks like before your system opens. So I highly recommend RSVPing for that. If you RSVP, I'll send you the Zoom link. If you miss the Zoom meeting, I'll send out an email afterward to all registered troops with the video, just like I'm going to do with the video for tonight. All right, let's take a quick look at the website before we finish up tonight. I'm going to show you just a brief view of where you can find some stuff online. So our website is psrweb.org. When you go, this is the main page right here. The tab you're going to want to navigate to for most of your resources is the Scouts BSA Summer Camp tab. Right here, if you click on the first link, it's the basic info for camp. So you can look at some of those dates for different things, weeks, fees, things like that. So if you just want a quick snapshot, we added this page this year just for an easy way to take a look. Another thing that we added for this year that may be of use to you still is this campsite availability. So if you're already registered for camp, that's awesome. This would be a great spot right here where you can take a look and confirm your registration to make sure that you're good to go. I update this as registrations come in manually, so it's not instantaneous, but the last updated date I put down on the bottom down here, but this is just a great snapshot to see. Another thing that this is going to be great for, if you're a really small unit coming out to camp, a smaller unit, we sometimes do shared campsite. So you may have somebody else with your troop. A lot of people ask me, am I sharing this year? What's going on? Here would be an opportunity to see if there's another troop in the campsite, or if you're shared with a boys and girls unit, you'll see it listed twice, one for the boys, one for the girls. If for some reason you see that you're sharing and you'd like to reach out to that troop and share contact info, while I cannot share contact info and give you theirs, I'm happy to reach out to them personally and ask if they're willing to share it. So like, let's say you see that you're sharing with another troop, say, hey, we'd love to connect. I'll reach out to the other troop and say, hey, they'd like me to connect. Do you mind if I share your information? And I'll be the matchmaker there, just to make sure that we're being responsible with people's email addresses. But as long as I get consent from the other unit to share, I'm happy to be the matchmaker and connect you. So let me know. Just shoot me a quick email and I can take care of that for you. All right, so that's the first one. The register for summer camp. I'm sure you probably already registered, but if you're interested in that 2026 registration, like that renewal process, you can find that information here. The FAQs are here, and then once the May 12th date, May and March today has not been good. Once that May 12th date comes up, this will be live where you can do that registration. Also, if you need that leader's guide, here's the download, the latest copy. We did do one update since we released it on the 17th of January that just got put out today. And all we did was we updated a small description for the mile swim. That got switched a little bit. And we also added that description for the Duty to God program. So those things are the two updates there. And as we continue, if we do any more updates, they'll be listed here with a change date. When you download that guide on the front cover, it'll show you what version you're looking at. So you can check and see if you have an old copy. So if your copy says last revised 117, download a new copy, 226. Also on here is that forms and links. This is a really great page if you're looking for all those resources we talked about. Almost anything we talked about tonight should be in this forms and links. Those health forms, informed consent forms, all required for adults and youth, that Michigan Central Registry, registration forms, so the t-shirt, online and paper forms. People ask me about that pre-sale t-shirt. Let's take a look. Looks like actually we're still doing $14. So that is the price I have on the form there. So there's the order forms for those. You can also do it online, which seems to be easier anyway. I prefer the online. That campership application, provisional campers, SPLs, help videos that I've recorded to show you basically the how the registration system works. If you have scouts with ATV or aviation, there's some permission forms there. Planning for camp. We talked about all those planning checklists and packing lists. Those are all here. If your troop wants to do pre-swim checks for camp, there's a way to do it here. Same with that, bring a golf cart to camp or rent a golf cart. That's here. Food allergies, menus are already up to date for this year with the new menus. So that's available there. Do need to update the patrol instructions, but I think that's going to be very similar to last year's. We're still working on that. And then that Frontiersman is here, all that good stuff. Baden-Powell Award, anything you need. Also, promotional materials. If you're holding a promotional troop night for camp, maybe you're trying to get people excited for going out to camp to get some sign up. You can watch our promotional video, show it at your next troop meeting. Come out and visit camp. I'd be happy to give a tour, book a weekend. We do free weekend camping for all troops if you want to do campsite. So if you want to book a weekend, come on out and check us out. We put things on our Facebook page. The newsletter is still there. We haven't been doing a lot of those recently, but the Facebook page has been going out quite often. And then also, I have a lot of patches and hats and wristbands and all this cool stuff left over from past summer camp. If you would like some cool stuff to hand out from past summers at your troop meeting, just click the link here, put a request in. We will mail that stuff to you for free. So that way you can, get the hype going, give them out some free patches, get everyone excited. The last thing on here is that work on camp staff. Right here, like Chuck mentioned, if you have anybody interested in that camp staff stuff, you can apply online or find more information right here as well. If you're interested in some extra resources, there is some maps and things over here. So the main camp map you can download under resources, gives you an idea where your campsite is and all that other good stuff. So my internet's a little slow, so it's loading, but that would be the other part of that. But if it loaded, it would load. But yeah. So check out the website. I will go over the registration stuff in detail at that registration training. Not going to do that tonight, though. All right, so let me take a look at the chat one more time, but it looks like everyone's doing pretty good there. And then also, if you have in-depth questions that didn't get answered tonight, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself. My name and phone number and email address is all right there. Chuck and Jeff's are on there as well. Those are our full-time guys working on summer camp stuff during the off season. Looks like Megan got that Michigan Central Registry link in there. That's awesome. What's the camp visitor / parent policy? We don't do a parents' night at camp, but if you have a family or people who want to come out and visit for the day for a few hours, they do need to check in at Loftus Lodge as a visitor. We don't require them to have the same requirements as a leader coming out to camp, so we don't require that registration and that Michigan background check and all that stuff. But this is under the assumption they're coming out to camp and they're visiting for a few hours, maybe coming out for a meal, something like that. If you have an adult leader who's coming out and staying for the day, or if they're doing any overnight at all, no matter how long they're staying at camp, they need to be registered for camp and they need to have all of that paperwork filed. And if you have youth coming out for the week or doing overnight, they need to be registered as youth. But if you have people who want to come out and visit, that's our policy there. But we don't do an official parents' night. We don't do anything like that. Can leaders bring non-scout children to camp with them? So the only scouts that are allowed to attend camp are registered scouts. They need to be troop registered scouts. They can't be Cub Scouts. They can't be non-scout children. If you had people coming out to visit for like a meal or something, check in at Loftus. But other than that, no, we don't allow non-scout children out at camp. Keep in mind also that these visitors, family coming out, you're limited to visiting with the troop. You don't get to participate in the program. You don't get to, do all that other stuff. That stuff requires registration. If you do want to have a meal at the dining hall with your troop, you can purchase meals at the business office when you check in. Is there a device limit for registration training? I don't have a device limit necessarily. I don't get as many people for registration training as I do for this night. And honestly, this night, my numbers look a little low too. Usually we have a few more. So if you have a couple extra people in your troop that want to watch that registration training, feel free to share the link. I don't think we're going to be over our limit. I think my 500 person limit is good till that date. So I think I've got plenty of space. Merit badge training on Zoom, same as registration training. Yes, so the March 26th, the merit badge training or the registration training, that's the same thing. Yep, 7 p.m. Do we get a copy of completed merit badges? I think we talked about that too, but yes, you'll get a printout at the end of the week, but there's also a way for you to download all that stuff through your online account anytime. There's a PDF version, there's a Scout book export, there's an Excel export, so lots of different ways to look at your requirements completed. And looks like Megan or John is actually answering those as well. Is it a CSV file? CSV is an option, yes. Do you need a Chrome extension to do the direct import? Yes, the Chrome extension, we have a link for that. We'll share that with you at camp as well. It's the exact same Chrome extension that Blackpug uses. So if you already have the Blackpug Chrome extension, it'll work for our export. It's the same one. And actually, I think the Chrome extension is now labeled for both Blackpug and Tenerife. All right. Looks like everyone's kind of just chatting and answering questions for each other. Scouts interested in the mile swim, avoid a 3 o'clock class, or can they make arrangements? So I know we just made adjustments to that, and now I'm trying to remember. I believe it's a 2-day commitment for mile swim. They need to come one day to do their pre-qualifying, swim a quarter mile, and maybe do something else, and then they come another day to do the actual swim. I don't see why we might be able to do a makeup for the 2 days they'd miss for the 3 p.m. class, but it depends on the class. I don't believe we do a sign up for mile swim online. That's just a show up class at camp. So I would talk with the program director and the area director for the merit badge they're in if they do take a 3 o'clock, and see if you can't make arrangements on Sunday night at the meeting if they want to participate in that. But if they really want to make sure they're available, I would avoid the 3 o'clock class. Yeah. Can scouts drive golf cart rentals or leaders only? So it's leaders only. If you have a scout who needs mobility assistance, they need to have a designated leader who's driving them. Looks like Megan and Jeff got that as well. All right, that is all I have for everyone tonight. I will stay on here for just a little while longer to see if any other questions come in the chat. If I didn't see your question in the chat, and I didn't answer it, if you want to put it in again, I'm watching the very end right now. Also, the only troop that I have on my list right now for host troops for provisional is Troop 4B out of Black Swamp area. I got you guys down. If you tried to get a hold of me for that, either send me an email, or if you want to put it in the chat now, I'll read it off to confirm that I have it on my list. And make sure to put your week number and then your council as well. Awesome. 244 host troop. Awesome. Steve, can you remind me what campsite we'll be in again? Troop 78. We can take a look actually at the website and see. You guys were Troop 78, week of June 22. So June 22 is week 2. If I look down my list, you might find it before I do. I don't know. Looks like I have you in Boyle's campsite sharing with Troop 4690. Week 3 host Troop 325. Gotcha. All right. 209 host troop. I will look up your week 209. And keep in mind with that host troop, we like to get A and B units. If you're a C unit, we typically don't do C units for host troops just because of the cost of food. How big is Appleseed campsite? How many people does it fit? I noticed for sharing. Appleseed is a very large field site. It can accommodate a good number of people. I would say I think sometimes we have a suggested amount on there, but I would say you'd be easily able to get a couple troops in there of 15 to 20 people each, if not more, one on either side. I probably said 209, but 290. I wrote down 290, but I said 209. Today I am not doing well with months and numbers. Troop 27, host troop week 3. Gotcha. Thank you, Megan, for keeping me on my toes tonight, and Jeff and Chuck with the dates. I've been all over the place. Let's see. Looks like John's answering a question on that mile swim. All right. I don't see too many more questions coming in or any more host troop stuff. If I didn't read it off, send me, or it looks like I got one other one. 704G, okay, week 4. 704G. And I've got 407B. Thank you. Thanks to everyone too for volunteering for that host troop. It's a really great opportunity. All right. I think we're looking pretty good. I am not seeing anything else. If for some reason I missed you in the chat tonight on host troop stuff, or if I missed you on a question, please don't hesitate to send that email out to me, or give me a call on the phone. I'd be happy to answer any questions for you. And other than that, I think we're going to close out for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone. And we'll get started and ready for Summer Camp 2025. 477. You're looking. 477's looking for a host troop for them, so their leaders don't have to come. It was a joke, but I thought it was pretty funny. Love it. All right. I'm going to close out the meeting, but again, send us an email or give us a phone call. Thanks so much tonight, guys. We'll see you later.